The Democratic Party was a part of the Ku Klux Klan. Yes, the Democratic Party started the Ku Klux Klan.
Hello, warriors. Welcome back. It's me, Linda B. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I am going to do a video with Vince Everett Ellison, do a reaction to it. This is called Shame the Democrats Lie in Church. We know they love to do that. They love to send their politicians to black churches. That's their MO. They've been doing it since the Civil Rights Movement. But before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Watch the video to the end and hit the notification bell. Thank you all for joining me. Now let's get into it.
Jim Crow Joe Biden goes into the pulpit of Mother Emanuel Church, lies about how the Democratic Party is going to help black people, lies about the Civil Rights Movement, lies about everything. We're going to break it down for you today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, let's get this thing started. And the nerve of these Democrats, the nerve of these Democrats. I turn on the TV, and guess what I see? I see Jim Crow Joe Biden, the president of the United States of America, in the pulpit of a black church. Yeah, Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, South Carolina, where 9 people were murdered by white supremacists. He goes there because he finds out that he's in trouble with the black vote and he needs to galvanize the black vote. So what does he do? Well, I thought the Democrats believed in separated church and state. They don't want the church involved in politics. They hate evangelicals. Oh, no, but when it comes down to the black church, that does not exist. So what does Jim Crow Joe get up there and do? Well, he gets up there and he lies. First of all, he wants to tell you about how the Democratic Party and the Civil Rights Movement helped the black community. First, let it be understood that the Democratic Party down south hated the civil rights. They hated civil rights. Matter of fact, every one of the Democrats, save one in the U.S. Senate down south, voted against the Civil Rights Act. Every last one of them except Ralph Yarborough. Of all of the 11 Confederate states, 22 senators, 21 voted against the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. All except Ralph Yarborough in Texas. Yes, that's true. So Joe lied about that. Then he gets up there and he talks about how good the Democrats have been to black folks. Oh, down south, how good they've been. Well, he didn't tell you that the Democratic Party was a part of the Ku Klux Klan. Yes, the Democratic Party started the Ku Klux Klan. They started in Pulaski, Tennessee. Nathan Bedford Forrest, the Confederate general, helped start the Ku Klux Klan, and their job was to keep black people in their place. And for 100 years, they raped and they murdered people in the black community. 100 years of Jim Crow, and the Democratic Party was the party behind Jim Crow.
This is what's so disturbing to me, because most black people vote Democrat and they will vote blue no matter who. And that is why we're in the position that we're in. In another video, he said is Stockholm Syndrome, where people the oppressed identify with the oppressors and take up for them. And it's like a brainwashing that you can't, it takes a move of God to get these people to think differently once they've been so oppressed. But the Democrats have a horrible history. Horrible. And the KKK, they raped, they castrated black men. They just burned crosses in people's yards, burned their houses down. They destroyed Black Wall Street. They have so much destruction in them. And somehow the Democrats came up with something that black people believe. They believe that the party switched, which is nonsense, because there's too many similarities between the Democrat Party of old and the Democrats today in 2024. Same party, same nonsense.
There was a party behind slavery from 1800 to 1860. They were the party behind the Confederacy from 1860 to 1865. Yes, it was the Democrat Party. But Joe Biden wants to tell you how good the Democratic Party has been to you. Go to any city. You remember John F. Kennedy went to the Berlin Wall, and he said people who want to talk about how great communism is, well, I tell you, if you think communism is great, let them come to Berlin. Well, I tell you that if you think the Democratic Party is great, and if you think the Democratic Party has been great to black people, yeah, let them come to Detroit. Let them come to Memphis. Let them come to Chicago. Let them come to New York. Let them come to Seattle, Portland, Oakland, anywhere they rule. All you see are the worst schools, the worst neighborhoods, violence. All they do is meditate on blood. And the entire black caucus, a bunch of black politicians, all of them. They rule over ghettos and slums. Oh, but they're on top. So Joe Biden goes into the black church and does what Joe Biden does. He lies. Talking about the civil rights movement and how they did this and that and all that and that for the civil rights movement. No, they didn't. The black community was much better before the civil rights movement. Oh, you don't believe it? Before 1940 and 1960, the black community cut its poverty rate from 80% to 30% in 20 years. It was the greatest reduction of poverty in the history of the world, all without the civil rights movement. Jackie Robinson integrated baseball without a march. Football, basketball was integrated without a march. Jesse Owens went to Berlin and defeated Hitler and the Nazis, winning 4 gold medals without a march. Joe Louis knocked out Max Schmeling. Muhammad Ali became heavyweight champion of the world. Floyd Patterson and Joe Louis, all of them, without a march. The black colleges, HBCUs, were going well without a march. James Meredith told me that our public educational system in the black community was the best public educational system in the world without a march. Black family was together. 80% of black children being born in 2-parent families. Black men going to prison didn't even exist. Crime didn't exist. Dope, fighting, hell raising, smoking blunts, drinking 40s, watching Jerry Springer didn't exist. Then all of a sudden, here comes the civil rights movement. Bunch of Marxists, bunch of weirdos, bunch of idiots.
This is hard for me to hear, guys, because, I grew up thinking Martin Luther King did a great thing. I didn't pay attention to the data decades ago when I was a kid. I didn't pay attention to the data, of course. They taught us about Martin Luther King, but there was no data that I looked at to see, poverty rate was cut from 80% to 30%, but after civil rights, 2-parent homes, now they're mostly 1-parent homes. The black families started to go downhill. I didn't know all that stuff. And so what he's saying is very educational. Is this eye-opening to any of you all? It's very eye-opening to me. And the Democrats really love going to black churches. They do it all the time. They do it all. That's how I know the parties didn't switch, because they did it during the civil rights movement. They would send the black civil rights workers and go to the black churches to get the black people, go to the black churches so they could talk to the pastor, so the pastor could get their congregants to vote Democrat. Because, there was going to be the Civil Rights Bill and the Voting Rights Act. That was going to be. So the Democrats said, okay, don't want them to vote, but since they're going to be voting, we got to make sure they vote Democrat. And everything they've done in their community and how Democrats do things is they get a black person to be like the overseer, like it was on the slave plantation. It was the one person that was to make sure that the other black people stay in check. That's another way that the parties did not switch. They're still doing that same thing today. The Democrats go to the black pastors of these black churches, and the pastor tells their congregation to vote a certain way, which is Democrat. That is the same thing that they have done for decades. For more than 60 years, they have done this. On the plantations, they did it. They would let one black person be like the overseer to make sure the others stay in check. Now it's the black pastor for the past 60 or so years who keeps their congregations in check. Same party, same strategy, same script, different actor.
Bunch of jackleg, no good preachers that all want to be famous and get paid. Yeah, they took the black church and they turned it over to the Marxists, who then took over the Democratic Party and turned the black church over to the Democratic Party. But the black church has always been part of the Democratic Party. And let's make one thing perfectly clear. There is no black church. There is no white church. There is no red church. There's only one church, and that is the Church of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
So you want to talk about the black community. Yeah, you look at the black community before 1960. You go up to Detroit when it was the richest city in the world. In the world. After the Civil Rights Movement, it went bankrupt. Go to Harlem. The Harlem Renaissance. I was told by this very nice white lady that back in the 50s and 60s, white people used to get up in the morning time just to go to Harlem to watch black folks go to church. That's how beautiful we were. We were called the beautiful people. Now you go out to Harlem at night, you better have a gun. Yeah, man. Go to Memphis now. Used to be a time you go on Beale Street, have a good time. Black folks just having a great time. Oh, not no more. But he wants to talk about how good the Democrats have been to black people. That's Joe Biden. But this is not all Jim Crow Joe did, and the Democrats talking about now. Today, in the newspaper, I'm reading the newspaper, that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are telling everybody that they are going to run on abortion access. That is going to be the pinnacle part of their campaign. So this is going to be Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's motto for the campaign, their slogan. We want to help you kill your children. We don't want to help you feed them. We want to help you kill them. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris believes in abortion up to the 9th month, from inception until a second before the child is born. There are some Democrats, my ex-governor in Virginia, Ralph Northam, who believe that they should abort it even after they're born. He said that if the baby's born, make them very comfortable, and then have a conversation with the parent and decide if you want to kill it. That's what Ralph Northam said. He's a pediatrician. Yeah, he said it. That's what they believe. So Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are saying they want no restrictions on abortion, and they want federal money to kill these children.
Wow. I'm going to look that up. You all let me know if that's true or not, what he just said about this, I think he said a governor, even right after the child is born. Oh, that is evil. I don't care what anybody says. That is evil. Democrats are too extreme now. They're too extreme for some of the people who vote Democrat. They're like, wait a minute, you guys are going too far. But I just believe the enemy, Satan, is over that party. And other, Republicans are not all that great either. They're rhinos in the Republican Party, which are really Republicans in name only. They're not really, if they were a true Republican, they wouldn't be going along with any of this stuff. But I still believe that the Republican Party, comparatively speaking, is better than Democrat. You all make your assessments on that. But telling a person to unalive their child, to do away with their child, even after birth, I'm pro-life all the way, from conception all the way through, from the moment of conception. That is the life that God put there. I'm pro-life. That's me. You all may have different opinions on that, but I am definitely pro-life because God is about life.
Tell me something. Now that you know this, now that you know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party are behind the murder of children, if you vote for them, don't you think you're going to be complicit in that murder? Let me give you an example. Guy comes up to me, knocks on my door, says, Vince, yeah, man, what's up? I want you 45. Why? I'm going to go across the street and I'm going to kill Sam. I said, you going to kill him? Give me a 45. I give it to him. He go kill Sam. Bam. When the police come and say, where'd you get the gun? He gonna say, I got it from Vince. Police gonna come over to my house, knock on my door. Vince, did you give John that 45? Yeah. Do you know he's gonna kill Sam with it? Yes, I did. You complicit in murder. What? Yeah, you complicit in murder because he told you he was gonna use your gun to kill him and you gave it to him. Joe Biden gets up there, says, yeah, black man, I want to kill children. If you vote for me, I'm going to use federal money to kill every child I can find in the womb. You look at him and say, you sure enough going to kill him? I'm going to kill every last one of them. And then you vote for him. And Joe Biden does what Democrats always do, and that is murder 1 million children a year in the womb. When you die and you go stand before Jesus Christ, he's going to look at you and say, hey, man, yeah, did you know that Joe Biden, did you vote for Joe Biden? Yeah, I voted for him. Did you know when you voted for him that he was going to murder those children? Yeah, I knew he was going to murder. And you still voted for it? Yes, I did. You're complicit in murder too. How can you not be?
This is what was hard for me to hear from someone, because I used to vote Democrat. This was something that was hard for me to hear from someone who was voting Republican. And she said, you're going to have to answer to God for how you vote. She said the same thing. This was a white lady. And she wasn't talking specifically to Black people. She was just talking to people who vote Democrat. Let me just make that clear. But I couldn't make it make sense. Like, how am I going to be responsible, for that? But when you put it this way, when you know that what someone is going to do, you know what they're going to do, and you go along with it, there's a certain amount of complicity, I guess. I've heard some people say, no, the Democrat Party is saying you can get an abortion. This is for people who vote Democrat. They're saying you can get an abortion. They didn't say you got to get one. They're saying it's there if you want to get one. They didn't say you have to get one. But still, at the same time, is promoting something that if it wasn't there, you wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? It's like, now it's an option to do it. So you can do it. But if it's taken off the table and you can't do it, then you won't do it. So that's how I look at it. So you may say they're not making you get one, but still, because it's available, you can get one. You're able to do something that is not right and that the Bible speaks against. So you all give me your thoughts on it. I'm, like I told you before, I'm completely pro-life.
Think about that. You think about right now if you're willing to go to hell for Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. Because any man that will vote for a man knowing that he was going to kill children is putting his soul at hazard. If you don't believe me, you ask a Nazi. The ones that knew that Adolf Hitler was going to use the German government to murder Jews. And they voted for him anyway. You see what happened to their country? How it was left desolate and destroyed? Why do you think the Black community is in such bad shape right now? We're teaching our children right now that life is cheap. You wonder why we're killing each other in the streets? Of course. Why? Because we're telling them you can kill them in the womb. Well, why can't I kill them in the streets if I can kill them in the womb? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, we want to help you kill your children. We haven't killed enough. We've killed 65 million. Yeah, there have been 65 million abortions since 1972. They've killed so many Americans that right now, our birth rate, which should be 2.1 if you're going to keep the population where it is at 1.6. That is a death spiral. No country has ever come back from it. We are dying as a nation. And the Democrat Party says full speed ahead. The Adolf Hitler was going to use the German government to murder Jews. And they voted for him anyway. You see what happened to their country? How it was left desolate and destroyed? Why do you think the Black community is in such bad shape right now? We're teaching our children right now that life is cheap. You wonder why we're killing each other in the streets? Of course. Why? Because we're telling them you can kill them in the womb. Well, why can't I kill them in the streets if I can kill them in the womb? Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, we want to help you kill your children. We haven't killed enough. We've killed 65 million. Yeah, there have been 65 million abortions since 1972. They've killed so many Americans that right now, our birth rate, which should be 2.1 if you're going to keep the population where it is at 1.6. That is a death spiral. No country has ever come back from it.
I'm just appalled at how the Democrat Party has done Black people and still lie to our faces. I mean, literally to our faces. They don't tell the truth. Jim Crow Joe just told all that in that same church where 9 people were murdered. He told that it's despicable. It is despicable. And the only thing we can do is to hold them accountable when we vote. Vote differently, everybody. And as you can tell, those of you who follow me, I do a lot of videos of Black people who are conservative because I really want to encourage Black people to vote differently. I'm not saying you have to vote Republican. Just please try not to vote Democrat. I mean, they're destroying the country. They're destroying communities. They're destroying people. And I don't care about things that don't matter. I care about things that matter, like people living, people being allowed to live peacefully, to be able to educate their children properly, to have access to health care and things like that. So I will talk about this. But other groups of people, they are diverse in how they vote, but Black people were not as diverse in how we vote. So I do have a lot of videos about Black conservatives with the intent of trying to encourage people to vote, Black people to vote differently. That is, how this channel has morphed, because I want Black people to understand how important this is. This is about life and death. The Bible says, choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. We need to get our minds focused, our hearts on God. All Americans do, not just Black people, all Americans. Repent, seek the Lord, give everything to Him, and try to live righteously. And doing things that way, things will get better. There's a problem with truth. People don't like the truth. They'd rather stay in their squalor, some of them. And that's what we need to stop doing. And some of the comments I get, people are just determined to stay ignorant. And the ignorance that they get is on mainstream media. They didn't research. They didn't. Some of them did not. Or if they did, they got false research. But if you look around, which party does what? It's the Democrats. And they've been doing it for decades, sending their politicians to our churches, using the Black pastor as the overseer that they were using back in the day, back in slavery times, to keep everybody else in check. It's the same party. Public schools, kids can't read at grade level. On the plantation, they didn't want you to know how to read. The slave owners did not want the slaves to know how to read. Same party. Give me, those of you who believe the parties have switched, give me some proof. Give me some solid proof. Don't give me your feelings. Give me some facts. Well, they won't be facts, but give me where you got your research. Well, you all just give me your comments. Be blessed. Going to end the video right here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And as I always say, march on, warriors.